One day, this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream.
We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand today. Oh, deep in my heart, I know thee.
Now, I currently now believe this quality among all types of people through different things. Some of the things you can see between black and white or women and male, you can cut it either way you want it, but at each level there's a glass ceiling.
Three
And
questions.
through that glass ceiling,
War and militarism, wealth inequality, and the problem of inequality under corporate capitalism, and the ongoing problem of white supremacy. These are obviously very much problems that we live with today. So not only do I not feel that King's dream has been realized, in many ways, we're in worse shape now. I would say that the America that we live in today is, as I said in the speech, is an absolute repudiation of, at the very least, of King's the way in which MLK's image is deployed becomes a way of reinforcing the ideal of post-racialism. Again, the idea that racism is something that fundamentally happens in the past, and that there's no need to struggle for racial justice in the present because we already had a civil rights movement, we had a king, and now history. And it continues to use history as a tool for raising awareness about our ongoing need to address inequalities, racial and economic. And I think that narrative is deeply misleading. I think it's also deeply inaccurate. And a big part of that narrative has to do with the sort of caricature of Martin Luther King that has become so dominant and that's celebrated every year during MLK celebrations and during Black History Month.
I do not believe that there is equality in all types of people in America. I think that there's still a lot of socially constructed racial tension that has been around in America for a long time that we need to get on.
Politically, yes, but there's still plenty of stereotypes, and there's definitely still many racists in America. So no, even though technically we all have the same rights, they're not really executed in the way that an ideal America would run.
No, there's 100% definitely not equality between all types of people in America for various reasons. You want me to elaborate? Okay. The first is because we still have these qualifying terms. I personally don't believe there's equality in America because when people come up to me, I always have this qualifier as in, oh, you're so pretty for a black girl, or you're the first black girl I've ever talked to. So until that day comes when people don't see me for my gender or for my race, which I don't think is ever going to happen ever in this world, then I'll believe there's equality. But until that point, we all have gendered and racially defined and ethnically defined and culturally defined stereotypes and stigmas that exist and will continue to exist. Do I think it's on the decline, and do I think we've made absolutely massive progressive steps towards equality? Yes. Will it ever be something that actually is achievable? no, I don't think. We can work towards it to making it better for our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren, but as of right now, there's absolutely not equality in
In the law, yeah, I believe that there is. I believe that in our system of government, there is equality between all races. In terms of law, now personally, between people, might be another matter, but in the law, yeah.
I do think there is equality in America. I do also think that there is some racism between people, but I do think each race, like everyone's represented equally. So yeah.
I think that as an anthro major, I've studied this a bit, and I think that there are still pre-existing conditions that are in place that limit progression in terms of standard of living and as well as like social status, especially on a broader scale.
Ever since I was little, I've never really seen a difference in where I've come from between African Americans and myself, and other races. Just living in DC, it's a pretty level plane, I feel, or at least my neighborhood. So I haven't really seen much change throughout my lifetime in terms of that.
I think it has improved a little bit. I mean, I think there's definitely been some strides. I know that there is a lot of work to be done, but again, I think it just goes back to educating the youths, making sure everybody knows about. I guess if you don't know about the problem, you're really not going to be able to solve it. So I think it's just a problem right now with educating people and just making sure everyone knows what the situation is, and then they'll be able to.
It's easy to look at a select few African Americans and say, yes, the conditions of African American people have got better throughout these past couple of decades. It's easy to look at Oprah Winfrey, Barack Obama, or even Michael Jordan and say, yes, blacks have moved up the social ladder. But the reality is, if you look at the numbers of social mobility within the African American community, those numbers have remained stagnant.
So I'd say the last quarter of the 20th century and this early portion of the 21st century have been very bleak times for Black America in many respects, economically, politically. Has been unable to complete its work in providing real economic citizenship for the masses of African Americans and other marginalized and oppressed groups, other racialized minorities in American life.
I think that we can work together more efficiently, especially in the groups that are putting forth proposals for action, and I think that in our actions we can choose a focus that will reveal itself in what we're able to achieve.
Take to further increase Martin Luther King's dream would be maybe to view people not in the context of race and more in the context of achievements or accomplishments, and take out the subjectivity of race.
I think we should definitely continue honoring his legacy through Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Also, we should continue trying to progress. It's a slow process, but I mean, given what the people in the world, just the mentality of a lot of people, but it's still something that needs to happen. It's going to happen slowly, but it's still going to happen, I think. I think starting with the youth, you educate all the young people into showing what Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy was, then everyone will enjoy it by the time everyone will, spread it to their youths, and it'll just become something that everybody, I guess, becomes a part of. Everyone can, I guess, feel and experience.
I think we have to get rid of a lot of stereotypes that fit certain backgrounds, like the idea of black males as athletes or criminals. I mean, there's like no in between, no like discretion between the two. It's kind of one whole loop. I think there's a major problem with stereotypes. Like the whole idea of politically correct, PC, is kind of what helps this problem, because we think that we have to be PC in an environment when like PC should be you all the time. Like there should be no thing as PC. Like, it shouldn't be a concept, because we always respect and care about those around us, right, even when they're not around.
My dream is to write a book about. I have no idea, but like just a book to get published.
I've gotten a great opportunity coming to Dartmouth College, getting recruited for football, and I just want to be a successful member of society and help others that are going through something.
To provide for my children and give them the same opportunity.
Professional soccer, either here in the MLS or...
As a father, I dream of a better future for my children. I've got 2 sons who are young boys, and I hope that the world will be that much better for them.
The African American community can unite the same way that we united in the 60s, the same way that we united during slavery. We need to unite, we need to sacrifice for our future generation.
I just want to do something that I wake up every day.
Yeah, just become a millionaire and play baseball and help.
I guess for one of your older is just have a family, provide for our family, and
My
raise some
dream
good
is
kids.
to be a professional cheerleader and to start my own charity that teaches young girls with disabilities how to.
Essentially be a professional athlete, but I want to have more than just that title. I also want to, after my professional career, try to actually advance myself in engineering and try to progress the world.
Invest in something, whether it be professionally, academically, or just as a person in general, just to be number one.